Hi, my name is Dr. Bernadette Bird-Bowen, and I am a late in life realized autistic non-binary millennial who has spent most of my life struggling as someone that I'm not, abusing alcohol, and experiencing a lot of sexual and emotional violence. I couldn't articulate any of this properly for most of my life because I only knew what I knew. Everything became normal in repetition, and everything is connected to historically inequitable systems. As you can guess, due to that and more, my first 30 years of my life were insufferable. On a brighter note, thanks to a series of fortunate events, I ended up pursuing graduate school, which helped me rebuild my sense of self after learning about identity and relationship theories, changing the entire course of my life. That ultimately led me to obtaining a PhD in media and communication, and now I'm a critical scholar. In recent years, I've published 7 academic publications and nearly 100 poems. My research circulates on what I've called the sexually violent U.S. ecology. I call it this not just from living the life that I experienced, but also from becoming a specialist in the host of research about sexual violence that goes on at epidemic rates but is basically never criminalized. This has led me to argue that regardless of intention, the impact of that is that basically these violences are legal. Now, since COVID-19 started, I completed my dissertation called From the Boardroom to the Bedroom: Sexual Ecologies in the Algorithmic Age, while ironically experiencing exceptional isolation and grieving the loss of my mother to lung cancer. If that wasn't enough, like countless other folks on algorithmic platforms, I'm beginning to reprocess the entire rest of my life, learning why it was such a struggle, and in ways that I couldn't have possibly begun to understand until this moment. Thanks to my dissertation research about the social and sexual relations in this context, I've begun to understand why there's been such a lack of comprehensive sex education. My work blends artist and activist and academic insights to look more clearly at dehumanizations and how they function, specifically in the U.S. context. Specifically, my work about the U.S. sexually violent ecology is about how our identities and our relationships have been altered by technologies. Last November, I also became a TikTok content creator, serving as a critical media ecological resource for folks like me. Over the last now almost 1 year, I've gained just over 32,000 followers, and thank you so much for that. And a few months ago, I wrote 2 memoirs about why there are, in fact, massive queerness and neurotype realizations, in other words, neuroqueer self-realizations happening in algorithmic platforms like TikTok in what I've called the environment, which is the environment plus virus. Within the last 10 to 15 years, research has shown that millions, if not billions of us have been missed, especially those of us that are black or brown and assigned female at birth. The world is too normally discriminatory for many of us to be safely open about our neuroqueernesses. We also know that folks like me have really high rates of substance abuse. 9 out of 10 assigned female at birth autists experience sexual violence, and we have exceptionally high rates of unaliving. The goal of me telling this story in the way that I have in this video is so that people realize that my memoirs exist, because it seems like they're not really being shared yet. And I want people to see my work so they know that they're not alone. If you can please help me by sharing my work, it would mean a lot. It would be a really big help.